Alrighty. Hello, welcome back. Time for Friday Night Nerd Chat. And as always, to those in the audience, if I could get a audio and visual check just to make sure everything is looking okay. Well, as good as it can look for me. I did boost the microphone. Someone had said last week that it wasn't coming in very loud, so I increased the gain on that. So if that is too loud, let me know. If it's too loud, or if it's too low, I can bring it up higher. We'll give this a second or two here before I get into my fun. I got tools everywhere. This, tons of those. Hello, Caleb Powell. I'm hoping my friend Keith makes it in here. We've been doing a lot of stuff cooperatively in here. It's a little quiet, but not too bad. Okay. Okay. Just brought it up a little bit more. If that is awful, let me know. One of the things I've been doing, and the reason I have all of these cubes, is I've been doing extrusion tests. Hey, Albert. So, 5 viewers. Wow, we got some peoples. I was going to start earlier, but I thought, well, you know, maybe I'll wait until 10 because I know a lot of people are different time zones than I am. Okay, so how about this? If I start blaring people out or people are complaining that I'm making their ears bleed on their earbuds, I can bring it back down. Okay, I'm going to make a mental note to look at the camera, not my laptop where I'm looking at the feed. Well, if this is your first time here, hello, my name is Paul, and welcome to Where Nerdy is Cool. As you can see, I'm surrounded by all kinds of cool stuff. And the big giant box standing up there in the corner is the long-awaited FolgerTech FT-6. It is huge. It weighs 70 pounds. So it's a very large, awkward size. So it was a grand old time lugging into the basement. As I mentioned to Caleb, it was one of those times where you're trying to come down the stairs, you can't see your feet because you got a big giant box, and all 3 cats were wanting to investigate the box because that's what cats do. But got it down here okay. I've had several people message and ask, hey, are you unboxing it tonight? Are you going to start working on this tonight? I need to get this guy done. And there's a couple things on the i3 Mega that unfortunately I had to delete the last video. We had Tim from TH3D on board. He joined the live stream to help out, and there was a lot of colorful metaphors, a lot of cussing. So unfortunately, that gets demonetized, and I know a lot of people watched those replays, and I just didn't feel comfortable having all those colorful metaphors in the replay. So, not to be prude, but I do know that from the people that have contacted me, there are some people definitely under the age of 18 that follow the channel, and I just wanted to keep it, you know, young adult friendly. So nothing against Tim. You know, Tim's a great guy, but on his channel he can blurt out all the profanity he wants, but on mine I try not to do that. so that's the reason why that video disappeared. But what was going on with the i3 is we do have the probe working, we have the arrow working, so that is good, and we actually had a first print. The one thing that we are running into, and let me get the second camera going here. The problem we're having is these couplers, and hopefully the focus is going to play nice here for us. Oh, it's turning blue. As you can see, these are the ones that have all those cuts in them. Boy, I spent all this money on this camera to appease Caleb, and there it is. Boy, I mentioned Caleb and it focuses. How about that? So you may recognize these couplers. I've seen them on my original CR10. You know, a lot of the Chinese printers have these. And the problem is that they tend to stretch. And the design choice that was made on this printer is that the gantry, okay, is hanging from these couplers. The camera knows its true owner. That's great. So let me see if I can get this back on the ground here so you can see. But as you can see, that's actually a pretty good angle. That entire gantry is hanging by those couplers, and those couplers have all those slits cut into them. Now, what happened with my CR10 that I had originally, and of course the CR10 has the motors on the bottom, is I got about probably 900 hours on that CR10. I did a lot of my BB-8 domes and a lot of body panels on that printer. And the one thing that I had noticed is after many, many hours is that coupler was starting to get a little springy. It was starting to separate. And that's with Isaac C. Newton pushing down on it. So I say that to say this, and what was going on is when Tim was remoted into the computer and he was doing the probing test, we were noticing all kinds of variances because chances are, you know, these guys are boing and springing around. Batman is 80 years old. Yeah, I saw a couple of Facebook posts about that today. And welcome back. I hope your neck is feeling better. So the solution, I think, is going to be, I'm pointing at the camera and I don't have the camera activated. I am totally on top of my game today. Dun, 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 dun. Tim had recommended these Amazon solid couplers. He had mentioned, actually he mentioned a link on Amazon. I was expecting him to point me to his website, but what the goal is going to be is I want to replace these two couplers with these solid ones, and my hope, dun, 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 oh sorry, you got the flu. So my hope is that when we replace the couplers, which should be a pretty easy job, it should just be a matter of unscrewing the motor from the top, loosening up those set screws, putting new ones in and plugging it all in. I'm hoping that will make a big difference. So then there are two other issues with this particular printer. Because the print head on this printer, the original one stuck out, I would say another 2 or 3 inches. Now that we have the Titan Aero on here, remember the previous print head had a stepper motor, then it had the extruder and the nozzle, so it stuck out quite a bit. Well, now we have the stepper motor off to the side, you know, and this configuration. Long story short, when we calibrated this to go all the way to the y-axis, we wound up being like inset by like 3 inches because the print head wasn't as long as the previous one. So the only way to get around that is to move the Y end stop, and again, Keith is the magic man. He came up with a couple of these great little adapters here where we can attach it to the back of the aluminum extrusion, put the limit switch on there and adjust it accordingly so that we can get that distance back. So that was problem number 2. Again, problem number 1 is the couplers. We think we got that fixed. We'll have to install it. Problem number 2 is losing some distance on the Y gantry. We think we have that fixed by moving the limit switch. And then problem number 3 is something that I've got to tell you, this is what happens when you make a custom printer. When you take a known printer and make it custom. The problem with number 3 is the 24 volt 5015 fan. We have it all wired up. We have it plugged in correctly to the MKS 1.4 board. And through the LCD screen and menu, if I go in there and I go to fan 1 and I set between 1 to 255 for the fan speed, the fan turns on and it blows and it works perfectly fine. When I go into Simplify 3D and I have layer number 2 set to 100% fan, nothing happens. So we thought, well, maybe it's a PWM thing. I've seen some printers where you got to play some tricks to force that fan to turn on. And no. Simplify 3D has, for example, a blip to full power from idle to kick on the fan. And nope, that didn't do it. And Keith, being the guru he is with Marlin, he mentioned the other day that he was looking through and I guess there was a couple known issues with the fans, you know, and the PWM not working properly. So this might be one of those situations where it's a known issue in Marlin and we have to make some more changes. So this poor printer, I don't want to say, this has been an excellent kit. It's been a tremendous amount of fun to play with. But of course, you guys know me, I always want to make it better than before. And so I think so far we've done that. But we're running into a few little gotchas along the way. But the gotchas we're hitting aren't really big ones. So I'm hopeful, and I got to catch up with Keith here. Hey, Todd. So I'm hopeful that we are on. Actually, let me show you the. See, this is the zippy little adapter, and this material. It looks. There's our limit switch. So this is basically just to give an example here as kind of a prop here. It's going to like attach to the side with M5 screws, and then of course if it has to go back and forth, we can slide that back and forth as needed. And the material I've been using as of late is Engine. This is ColorFab Engine. It's a copolyester. It's been a little bit tricky to dial in, but I've got to say, as of late, I think I have it working really well. It prints a little bit hotter than PLA, but its heat resistance is like 85 degrees Celsius. So these parts aren't going to, melt as fast, for example, as PLA. And then what I've been doing as of the last couple of nights, because you know what kind of exciting nightlife I have all of these extrusion cubes. And what I've been doing is when they come off the printer, I label 1, 2, 3, 4. And what I do is I take the measurement. And whoa, look at that. We have HD and my handwriting is terrible. But what I'm doing is I'm measuring them. For example, on the A10, I did them. What's amazing about this material is on both printers, I got the same exact results. So what you do, and I will share with you, let me go over here and show you this. This guy right here is an extrusion multiplier calibration cube. So if you're wanting to, if you've always wondered if your extrusion multiplier is set up right in Simplify 3D, Cura, Slicer, whatever you happen to use, this is great. So what they recommend is you set the multiplier to 1, and as he says here in the instructions, set it for about 0.4 nozzle. Then what you want to do essentially is you get your caliper out and you measure all 4 sides, divide it by 4 to get the average. And then what you do is, because these were using 0.8 walls, you take 0.8 and you divide it by the average of what you got. So in most of these cases, you're going to wind up with, and for example, on mine, I wound up with 0.946 on all of them. And it's been very interesting because since I made these calibration changes, these prints have come out really well. I had a couple prints in the past where I kind of wondered where that's kind of weird that the screw doesn't fit perfectly in the hole, or I've wondered if it was over extruding or under extruding, which can be really kind of tough to dial in. So if you're looking for a way to, if you have a simplified 3D profile, or if you just want to calibrate your printer to be a little bit tighter as far as tolerances, that extrusion multiplier, that's a lot to say. Let me try that again. Extrusion multiplier calibration cube. Holy cow, I gotta start drinking before I do these things. I don't have any beer in the house. That's because I'm on that keto diet. And it's not cheat day. Oh well. You'll have to put up with sober Paul. But anyway, so I've done a pile of these, and I really think I'm at the point where I think I have the Ultimaker and the G-Tech A10 dialed in really well with this filament. Someone asked for an update on the G-Tech A10. What do I think of it? I still hate it. It does a really good job with PLA. The one thing I'm noticing with the G-Tech A10, of course, if you're new to the channel, you don't know this, but if you're a regular, we spent a lot of time tweaking, removing, replacing parts just to make that thing work properly. And the one thing I'm noticing is now that I'm printing a material that requires a hotter temperature than PLA, for example, I'm printing this stuff at 235 Celsius and a bed temperature of 82, You know, in Octoprint, when you're watching, you know, the little bar graph go when your bed and your nozzle's reaching temperature and it's kind of going all over the place. That's what's going on. You start a print on this thing, it reaches temperature, and then it takes literally 10 minutes before it stabilizes, and then we'll start the print. Usually what you would do is if you're having a print or a printer that's having difficulty stabilizing its temperature, you would do an auto PID. You know, you would run that, and basically you're kind of calibrating the hot end so that it knows the temperature range and what it has to do to maintain them. What? No unboxing? Ah, well, the box is right here. As you can see, I just don't have any room on the desk for it. So, uh, where was I? Oh, so yeah, so the G-Tech is struggling with that. It's still giving me outstanding prints. I mean, the printer we love to hate is doing extraordinary. I mean, all these silver prints, for example, came off the G-Tech, and I'm taking a lot of credit here because I did a lot of work on that simplified 3D profile. Okay, come on. Do I have to say? Oh, there it is. See, I didn't have to say your name, Caleb, to get it to focus. This is G-Tech. I'm sorry. This is off the G-Tech, and this is using ColorFab Engine filament. This is their silver, and it prints really, really, really well. The one thing I'm not crazy about is I'm not crazy about the print surface that comes with it. So that leads me to this. Uncle Jessy did a review last week, and it was through BD 3D Customs. And he offers a spring steel sheet, and then you put the PEI material on top of it. And here's the thing that kind of surprised me. So let's think about this, okay? Let me go really slow. I know it's late in the night. So I've ordered a metal bed for my printer, and it showed up in this flat little bag. What could possibly go wrong with the heathens at UPS or the Postal Service possibly bending the hell out of one of these? So fortunately, it made it here safely. The feedback I offered the gentleman, I said, you know, I'm grateful that I got it here quickly, but the one concern I had is that if you're buying a 3D print bed surface, you want it to arrive as flat as possible. So, you know, in the future, are you going to be putting these in cardboard boxes with some padding so that the shipping services don't kill them? And he said, I appreciate your feedback. I'm like, well, I'm just, call me crazy over here, but I'm just trying to exercise a little bit of common sense. So let's pop this guy open using my good old plastic cutting scissors. All right. And it's very, very shiny. And this is the bed surface that I am going to be placing on the G-Tech. And let me get to the other camera here, because perhaps through the wonders of the glare, we can figure out what the devil this thing says. It says 3D Max PEI on this side. Okay, so that's nice. The instructions are on the bed. The best 3D printer flex plate system. Let's see, by Energetic, 300 by 300 by blah blah, and 2D fine. What the heck? I can't see that from the camera. To define is to limit. Okay, so, all right, that's interesting. The first thing I notice is, well, first of all, I paid 35 bucks for this thing, so I wasn't exactly expecting perfection. Just being the guy I am, I'm noticing that the text isn't centered. Yeah, exactly, Ben. Yeah, exactly. Thanks for your feedback. Now go screw. So the good news is this thing looks like, I mean, it's flex. Doesn't make a whole lot of noise. But again, I was just surprised that it showed up in a baggie. And I think what I will do, I'm not going to apply this on here tonight because I want to clean the surface with rubbing alcohol. And if I do it on camera, I'm going to get bubbles or cat hair, and you guys are going to laugh and make fun of me, and I will go to bed with a sad, sad face. No. So there we go. The other kind of weird thing that happened this week is, I'm not going to name the vendor, but it starts with F, and it's not FolgerTech, so there you go. I bought a lot of stuff from this company. I bought a lot of the hot ends and some other stuff over the last couple weeks. And one of the things I purchased this week was, actually, let me put this away. Okay, so this isn't the one. So this is what a E3D Titan Aero comes in the box, okay? So all of these that I have bought from other manufacturers, it's come inside another box, either with packing peanuts, or basically, you know, just safely packed up there. Now, apparently this is an approved shipping box, but the one that I received from this company, what they did is they received my order for the Titan Aero, they put a sticker on it, and off it went. And the box I received, while the box was intact, it got the tar beat out of it. And it was pretty visibly damaged. And when I opened it up, I made sure all the parts and pieces were in there. Fortunately, they had taped it all up, so nothing could escape. But I had contacted them and said, you know, hey, you know, I'm surprised you didn't put this inside a box or maybe a padded envelope. I mean, even the $6 couplers from Amazon came in a padded, you know, Amazon Prime envelope. You know, why not a $120 extruder? And I mean, maybe the margins are real tight on these things. I don't know. But the response I got was, you know, something of the type of, you know, we don't want to waste material, or we're trying to be environmentally sensitive. And I just thought, you know, do you know how much of this filament winds up in trash? You know, 3D printing is not known for being the most green hobby in the world. So I was, again, maybe it's just me. Hey, I'm the kooky crazy one, right? But I was just surprised that, you know, a $120 part didn't wind up, you know, inside a box packing peanuts or whatever. And the reasoning offered was, well, you know, we're concerned about, you know, the environment. Well, we have a zero sort landfill down the road over here. Actually, it's not a landfill. What they do is it goes through the machines, it does all the sorting, and then over here in Maine, where I live, it all goes into an incinerator, which is, of course, burnt, and they use that to generate electricity. So, so I mean, if you're trying to save a couple bucks and not use bubble wrap or a cardboard box, okay. But I don't know. It's just, if it were me, I would do something different. But I will let you guys tell me if I'm crazy or not, or maybe I have these crazy expectations of the world. All right, now, with the addition of yet another printer, or rather, let me say, with the addition of another printer kit, I went ahead and I went to Home Depot, and let me switch over to this wonderful camera and aim this up. So what I've done is I've already, since I don't have a label gun, I decided to make use of all those rolls of cheap masking tape that have come with all the CR10 and TiVo Tornadoes. I mean, I've got all kinds of masking tape that lasts a long time. So all the FT-6 parts are going to wind up going in here. And then, let's see, I have it right here. One of the best things that you can print off Thingiverse is this has, I believe it's the M5 and M3 size holes. And what you can do is, in a pinch, you can just slide them through there and figure out, because I don't know metric as well as you guys may know it. So this is a nice, simple print. And what you can do is use this to figure out, hey, what size is this? And then what I'm going to do inside of here is I'll place, you know, little stickers in here so that I can quickly figure out, what the M312s, M316, or that sort of thing. If you're going to do a FolgerTech 3D printer kit, I highly recommend these. I mean, I think the one that I bought right here was, like I said, 15 bucks from Lowe's. And yeah, and then let me put this over here. And the thing that you guys are most interested in is this big, giant box. And then I have a printout for all the aluminum composite ACM pieces. What's interesting because looking at I already have the PDF, but so I printed this out already just so I have it as a reference. And I'm noticing that notice how they all have a BFP1, BFT2, BF, So I'm reading through this evening, and I'm kind of wondering, I wonder what that stands for. And all I could think of is big friggin' piece. I mean, maybe there's a more technical name for what this stands for, but it's going to be a really fun build. I'm really looking forward to it. And just by looking at the size of the box and knowing that these 2020 rails are at least this big, it's impressive. If you do not know what a FolgerTech FT-6 is, let me go to their website real quick here and share that with you. Yes, actually, yeah, you mentioned a good point. I did hear from a gentleman today saying that he has enough people to do the spring steel with PI adhesive layer on top for the new printer, and I want to say it's 90 bucks. So he sent me an email saying, hey, if you want one, this will be the cost. Go ahead and send me a payment. But here it is. Here is, and what we did is we have the GLCD and we have the dual Bowden with level, and that is what is going to eventually look. Ours, of course, doesn't have the RPI. I haven't decided if I'm going to do this or not. I mean, I can certainly update it. I know people are going to ask about the bed size. Yes, there we go. Bed size is asked already. So the bed size on this thing is 720 by 350. And it's 400 millimeter tall. So it's just as tall as all the other printers we're used to. It's going to be printing as tall as the FT5, the CR10, the CR10S, and TEVO Tornado. God, I'm struggling to name all these printers. The conversion on this, the spring steel for PEI, oh, I can give you that guy's name. Hang on. Let me, I generally don't run Facebook when I'm running the live stream, but let me jump in there real quick. And let's see. You can see all my fun posts here real quick. Where did it, I thought I had a shortcut for him. Let's see. Let's go to, let me find you the post that has that information here for you. Let's see. The minute I go into Facebook, my CPU usage goes pretty freaking high on this computer, especially with the live stream running. But I want to get you that answer, so give me a second to find that. That's the trouble with these Facebook groups. Is it's really, if you miss a post, it's hard to, show you, which one it is. Here we go. And just waiting for that to load. Oh, come on, Google Chrome, you're killing me. Okay, let's see. The biggest thing I can do, if I can find his name, I can find the post. But this printer does have the dual extruders. It's using the, like that Y adapter to go for 2 different materials. What was his name? What was his name? I think he messaged me earlier, so if I can find him in here. I think his name is Brandt. B-R-A-N-D-T. Let's look for Brandt's post. Here it is right here. Okay, oops, I'm sorry, I don't have the screen. Okay, so let's see, who was asking? Was it Mike? Yes, yes, it's Brant uh, Dunkers. So if you go into the FolgerTech 3D printers group, and if you search for Brant, uh, you will find his information. And I am sure if you give him a shout out, he'll be happy to contact you and say, hey, so let me get out of Facebook so I can regain a couple cores on my computer here. Hey, no problem, Mike. I'm here to help. So, yeah, so that's my plan anyway. My goal is like I said, with this thing sitting on the desk, uh, it's been a busy day. One of the reasons, and I'll be completely honest with you guys, is one of the reasons we're not opening this up tonight is my brain is toast. I had to take my aviation history midterm. I procrastinated. I started on it this afternoon, and then I had to finish it tonight. If you are in the class, you can get they proctor, okay, a multiple choice quiz or test rather, which I would have loved to done. If you take the class remotely, you're required to do a 4 to 7 page and answer 3 questions in essay format, and it just, oh my God, I mean, essay questions are not my favorite thing. So I got that done a couple hours ago, and it's just been a long week. So I want to open this up and enjoy it. So tomorrow I'm going to be out of town for a couple hours, so I probably am not going to get to this probably until Sunday. So just like just like you used to hear on TV as a kid, Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. That's probably the day I'm going to be aiming to do it, and I'm going to, whether I have this thing done or not, it's going to go back to the other corner. And knowing how large this printer is, I'm going to have to do something as far as relocating the laptop and everything else, because this thing, looking at the specs as far as, some of you guys may be better at me with the whole conversion of millimeter to inch or what have you. The printer itself, looking at the printer size is 1,040 millimeters by 540 by 750. Yeah, Lowe's sells cheap folding tables. Yeah, yeah, I'm sure they do. I mean, I have a few things over here that would probably work. I have an old TV stand here that would probably suffice just fine to put the laptop on. But, okay, so 1 meter is 40-ish inches. Well, here we go. Well, all right, who wants to do the Google conversion here? So I want to say, I think I even posted this on my Facebook, and I think Caleb even replied to it. Where did I do with it? Okay, here we go. So I did convert this. So if you're wondering what the size of the print volume is, I have it right here. So 720 is 28.3 inches. 350, which is the y-axis, is 13.7 and 15.7 inches tall. So 28 by 13 by 15. That's still, I mean, that's a very wide printer. So that's, it's going to be interesting. One of the things that had me interested is, since it can print the same height, but it can print, it's so much wider at 28 inches, with some of these BB-8 pieces, what I could do is, I could have that one printer. I mean, it'll take a long time. But once I have that printer dialed in there, I could have that printer do multiple BB-8 panels at one time. So rather than having, these other, 5 or 6 printers going, did I really say that? Do I really have that many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wow. Where did it all go wrong? Okay, so I have 8 printers. But so anyway, with this one printer, once we get it all calibrated and set up, I can do several BB-8 pieces at one time on that one. So that's really cool. It's interesting you say that. I've seen a lot of people in the chat here. Caleb mentions the dimensions of the bed. I've seen a lot of people that are looking for something that prints taller. I've been seeing a lot of people that want a 500 millimeter, tall rather than 400. And that's why I see a lot of posts from guys that have CR10 S5s, which is the 500 by 500 by 500. And it seems like those guys have a tougher time, calibrating. For example, the easy ABL probes have a tougher time because, if the printer has any kind of defects, if it's not, if it's not square, if there's a problem with the bed, a lot of guys have a real challenge, getting that printer dialed in there. So, someone asked me if I'm going to Murph. I would love to, but that's pretty far away, and I don't know anyone around here that's going. I would definitely love to go and bring a couple battery packs and the cameras and interview some people. An R2D2 dome. Yeah, a lot of people like that size for a dome or for body. Yeah. And if you didn't know already, I am on Twitter. I've been trying to make sure that I'm on there every now and then and post. I do a fair amount on Instagram and on Facebook, where nerdy is cool. I think on Instagram it's where nerdy cool because the title is too long. So I put as much on that I could fit. It's interesting because I'm following a lot of the people that are very active in 3D printing, and it's become pretty obvious that Twitter is a lot bigger than I thought it was. To me, Twitter just seemed like a really good way to lose your job after having a bad post. But I've been following, the 3D printing nerd. I watched Barnacle Nerdgasm. I've been watching Naomi Wu tear apart a bunch of people. I just, it's been amazing. So apparently, if you're really, really active in 3D printing, like literally every hour of the day, Twitter is for you. Myself, it's interesting. A lot of people don't like Facebook, a lot of the politics and what have you, but my Facebook feed is largely full of 3D printing, so I find it very useful. So each to their own, right? The other thing I wanted to mention, or maybe even better, I wanted to remind, there's a lot of people that are on my forum, and let me just, sorry as you hear me tap away here, but one of the things I miss web forums, because as for example, we were talking about trying to find where the spring steel bed plate run is on Facebook, because unless you know the guy's name, you can't find it ever again. So that's why I like forums. So mine is not the busiest one, but 3dprintingforum.us, and that is the one I run. I started this a couple years ago with Anders Olsen. Anders, you may know from the Olsen Ruby. He developed that product, and he has been very, very busy with it. Initially, we were a bunch of Ultimaker guys. We didn't like their web forum was real clunky, and a lot of guys were looking for a different place to chat on. Anders said, hey, you should start something. I did. So there's a bunch of topics here. So I want to say we probably get about 20 or 30 people that are really super active in here. So if you're big into 3D printing, if you like talking about 3D printers, and if Facebook gets a little bit annoying, check this out. Again, the registration is super easy. To defeat the spammers and the robots, there's a few very simple questions you have to answer. Frankly, if you need my help answering them, you got bigger problems than me. So just wanted to give my web forum a little bit of a plug. The FT-6, I don't know how long this is going to take me to build. What we're going to do is, as you know, we got a discount. John Folger had, I approached him and said, hey, I would love to do another live stream, and especially with the FT-6 being a very large printer. He indicated that, we would love to get some more FT-6 videos on YouTube, some reviews and some feedback. There's some out there, but not much. And so I can't say how much. I'm not going to make any hand gestures or stuff like that. But I will say we did get a nice discount, which made it a little bit easier to afford. And I'd also want to give a thank you. There were a good chunk of you guys that donated via PayPal. Caleb, for example, I know you're on Patreon, so you guys certainly helped lower the burden of writing the check for this particular product. So it took several weeks to save up for it, and I think it's going to be worth it. And so what we're going to be doing is we're going to do probably just like what we did with the i3 Mega. Assuming everyone's schedule is okay, what we're going to do is probably every evening for the next couple of nights, probably going to dedicate an hour or two, maybe 3, and attack this. This way, for others that are looking to build an FT6, what they can do is they can go through the individual videos that we're going to create every night and see how it's all done. Whereas this printer is so large on the structure, and the structure is basically a great big giant box, I don't see us being bound up for a very long time building the frame. The instructions, the things that I've looked at that have made me wonder is they're using Ethernet cable in place of some of the places where we ran all kinds of wires in the past, silicone wire. So I think it's going to be a very interesting build. There are people that have them completed and they're very happy with them. So I'm hoping we'll be one of them. There's some upgrades already available for this printer. The Corey offers a milled aluminum bed instead of the aluminum composite material, which is the thin pieces of aluminum with the plastic sandwiched in the middle. We've had good luck with the ACM on this printer. It's a little bit sharp. The upgrades that Corey offers, I think it costs like $700 to get all of them, but I think right now we're going to build it stock. We're going to see how that extruder works. The last time I had a printer here that could do multiple extrusions, 2 different filaments, was the Ultimaker 3, and that thing's badass. But for $1,000, it usually is. And Ben, looking at what you wrote here. Yeah, and what's interesting is with this printer here, this beast, especially with the bed surface being, that spring steel, and like the one I have over here for the G-Tech is super, super thin. And this does come with its own probe. It's not using the same kind of inductive sensor the EasyABL uses, but it's going to be interesting. When I see a big printer like this, Ben, one of the things I don't want to say worry about is this is going to be a lot of belt. So getting that all around all these pulleys, and I know that he generally doesn't use like the GT2 pulleys. We really haven't seen too many of those on this printer. They kind of use their own makeshift idlers, which work, but we'll see. But this is definitely a much higher end product than this $350 printer. So I'm curious how the stock hot end is going to perform. I don't know a lot about it, kind of going into this blind. With all my other printers, I'm a big E3D fan. I mean, I literally have 4 E3D Titan Aero sitting over here, waiting to upgrade. I can't talk about Keith anymore. Son of a bitch. Welcome, Keith. And Keith is here. Keith is the moderator, so if you're a pinhead, he will nuke you, but that's never been a problem here. So everybody wish Keith a happy evening. And what am I doing on time? Wow, look at that. So I'm already 45 minutes into this. What have I got? 8 viewers? Woohoo, cool. Yeah, so we're back to the Friday night chat. Keith, what I was telling these guys is you disapproved Caleb's comment. Oh, did we miss one? Did he type something wonky and it got past me? Would be the first time. Sometimes if they post a link, it tags me saying I have to approve it. Yeah, I don't see it here. So anyway, quick recap, Keith, and anyone else that just joined in late. The beast of the FT-6 has arrived, all 70 pounds of it. Oh, the bed size was held for review. Oh, yeah, because it could be considered. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. So we did a little bit of math on what the size of this bed is. Let's see, the volume of this new printer is 720 by 350 by 400. And for those of us in the United States, that's 28.3 inches on the X, 13.7 on the Y, and 15.7 on the Z. So we're not losing anything on the Z height that we're not already used to, but boy, it's going to be able to print something super wide. The hotel's internet. Oh, that's right. You moved and you're still looking for housing. Well, hey, I mean, at least you can leave the place every day and Inches don't belong in 3D printing. Yeah, in Cura they call it barbarian mode. Let me see. What can I say just to give a quick recap? Because Keith, you know all what's going on because I work with you quite closely here. I wish, Keith, you would do video and audio here so that you can share some of your experiences. Keith is one of those people that managed to get a Prusa, and it's been an utter and complete disaster. And I think he's still getting parts in the mail that he's not sure about. So hopefully Prusa will go out of their way to get what you need and impress you, which is unfortunate because I keep, on Twitter and every place else, I see all these posts here from Prusa. The shipping department, yeah. Well, I see they just released the laser one, the SLA printers, and as I mentioned a few minutes earlier before you joined, obviously I did not realize this as a non-Twitter user, but holy crap, there's a lot going on Twitter. So if you're into 3D printing and you have the time, Twitter is the place to follow all the drama, whether you want to or not. I mentioned real quick, Keith, on the i3 Mega, the reason it's still on the desk is we're still working on a few things. Obviously, you're aware the couplers came in the other day, and I have printed out your bracket, which we need to test that out. And I'm curious, actually you can chime in here if you want, or if you want to tell me later. I'm curious if you've had any luck with Marlin and the 5015 fan, PWM fan not working through G-code. Someone had replied to me on the CR10 group, and we had a private chat, and he basically, well, have you tried this? Have you tried this? Have you tried this? And yeah, we did that. We did that. We did that. And he just replied, man, I'm stumped. So I was impressed. Yeah, it's really weird. Like I said, we were able to activate that fan through the LCD screen, no problem. But if we add it to G code and a print, it won't do it. It's interesting you say that, Caleb. When I was out of town 2 weeks ago with R2D2 in Portland, the hotel I stayed at was a Holiday Inn, and the internet would disconnect every 30 minutes. It was really weird. I plugged in my laptop, and I was scrolling through the news, and all of a sudden, no internet. Go back, key in the little key code there, and oh, it's up and working again. Then 30 minutes later, it would drop you out again. So I guess that was their way to defeat the kids and the gamers or something. Oh, La Quinta. I have a La Quinta story. The first time I had R2D2 with the Symphony Orchestra, they put me up at a local La Quinta in Portland, Maine. I'd never been to a La Quinta before. And so naturally, here I am. I've got an R2D2 in the back of the car. I don't want to leave it in the car. So, no one's around. I had the aluminum folding ramp. I rolled them out, and I rolled them into the room. And that's fine. So that evening, I'm kind of, going through the computer, making sure all my programming's going to work for R2, what have you. And then at 2 in the morning, we didn't know then, but some drunk pulled the fire alarm. So at 2 in the morning, they're yelling, evacuate, evacuate, evacuate. And I'm sitting there going, do I roll the droid out or do I leave him here on his own? So I was, most of these times, you hear fire, you put your coat on, you're out the door you go. But I'm sitting here going, should I take the time to fire the remote control, roll R2D2 out into the parking lot? What kind of chaos would that cause, right? Or do I just leave him here in the room and hope for the best? So I left him in the room and went out. And then an hour later, the fire department determined that a couple people that had been drinking heavily or got a bad ice cube had yanked a couple of alarms. You would have taken the droid? Linear rails and lead screws. I've seen a few printers that have done that. So yeah, that's my La Quinta story. So my thought was, my next steps, Keith, I don't know what you're up to this weekend, but I think Sunday is going to be the unboxing and starting the assembly of this printer. And then over the during the week. I figured every evening we would do an hour or two and work our way into the build. And what I'd like to do, as I told these guys earlier, is just like we did with the FTI3 build, is every video was basically, we capped it at 2 hours. This way, if someone else was going through the videos as a tutorial, they wouldn't have to sit through an 8-hour video and scrolling through. We can break it down into segments. So there we go. If anyone is looking for IT help or knows of some jobs that have sprung up, let Mr. Keith know. Keith is in search of a new IT position. He's looked for a couple places, and like I said, I haven't won the Powerball. That's going to be like $500 million here by Saturday. So, if I won that, I mean, I'd certainly, could find a reason to hire him and, help me out with some stuff here. Take care of the cats, but. Yes, I did add a counter. Yeah, there's a bunch of things in Streamlab OBS that I've been playing with. The other night, I think, Caleb, as you saw, I've been messing with OBS when using my VR headset when I'm flying. That still takes a little bit of work. With VR, what happens is you have obviously a left and right screen, and you have to tell OBS which screen to use, and the playback definitely looks a little bit different. So, because of course you're used to seeing things in stereo and you're seeing just one side of it. So, oh, you want chat on screen? Yeah, it's interesting. A lot of people have said, nah, don't do that. That sucks. That's no fun. I think I can add. I don't know if I can add it on the fly or not, but let me see. Let's see, chat box. I used to have it on here, I thought. Let's see. Yeah, I would have to add it as a widget. Yeah, I used to have it in here, but I want to say I had removed it at one point because people thought it was distracting. Hey, JDC. Well, let's see. I don't know if I can add that in real time. Will it let me add that in real time? Let's see. Dun, 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 widgets. If I break everything, I apologize. Okay, and I'm going to put it for the default settings. And I'm going to put it over here on the side, I think. Where would I be able to put that? I got to put that down on the bottom. All right, I'm doing this in real time, so I'm probably going to really mess this up. So for that, I apologize. Here we go. Let's put that here. Let's see, the jar can get moved over. The jar here. Okay, and now I'm trying to get the chat box to work properly. And with any luck, put it over your face. Thanks, guys. All right, so you guys can tell me if it's working. Okay, so go ahead and start typing and oh, here we go, supercalifragilistic. Hey, there it is. So now my question is it too big? Is it too small? Is it just right? See, I'm here to help you guys. So how about that? An interactive channel. The only thing I'm wondering is, I wonder how long it should, okay, so it's going to stay there until the next chat pushes it over there. Here we go. Well, cool. Yay, we got that working. So there. If you like what you see, if you're not a subscriber already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Let's see, it looks like I'll have to add that chat box to all the other views as well too. So what I can do is I can click on copy, and then what I got to do is when I go to this view, let's paste this guy. Okay, and if someone wants to go ahead and type, we'll make sure that that's working properly, and then we'll move the jar kind of out of the way over here. We'll just stick that. Actually, the jar can go away on this view. So let's. There we go. So a little bit of experimentation. There we go. Type. There we go. Awesome sauce. I'm becoming a pro. Well, I'm not really. I'm not nearly as good at this as Tim is. So there it is. So the type is working down there. Is the font size okay? Because like, actually, you know what? I'm being an idiot. I got another screen right here. So let's see. Okay, so it looks like it's all right. Let's see. What's my HD setting on the screen right here? So it should be showing at 1080p. So look at that. We're starting to look like one of those real big channels. Actually, speaking of, I've lost track. I think we breached like 2,600 users. Yeah, you know, it's not like I'm a big channel anyway. Someone at work was asking, saying, "I heard you had a YouTube channel." And I go, "Yep." And I said, "And your kid's Minecraft channel is probably bigger than mine, but that's okay because I'm cool." And he thought that was a pretty clever response. I know, I'm not a big channel. You know, it's funny. I get a lot of comments and people are like, "I'm surprised you don't have more subscribers." I don't care about the subscribers. You don't make much if you. It doesn't matter if you got 1,000 subscribers. Well, if you have 1,000 subscribers, you can qualify for AdSense. But the big thing is, and the big secret to YouTube is the views. You know, I was looking at one of my stats and I can't remember where it was. Actually, I can share it with you. Oh, was it on YouTube or was it on vidIQ? I could tell you. Well, if someone wants to send me an Ender 3, I'll be happy to do a review on one because that seems to be like one of the hot spots on YouTube. I do need to buckle down and finish my Octoprint Anywhere review. Okay, so here we go. So here's the kind of the fun things that I look at, okay? Yeah, I look at my sweatshirt. Way to go, Paul. So what's cool is this is vidIQ, and this is what usually I look at once a week, and it tells me, you know, how we're doing as far as, you know, views. But what's neat over here is, you know, 52% of my viewers are between 25 and 34, which the advertisers love. They totally eat that up. And my most popular videos tend to be anything to do with Raspberry Pi or Octoprint. And as you can see, Octoprint and then the G-Tech A10 as well is in there as well. So this is a little dated. This will update again tonight. But I think perhaps I gotta find it again. I get a kick out of looking at this stuff because, you know, there are some people that live and die by their YouTube stats. I do this for fun. You know, I would love it to be full time, but hey, you know what? I'm just having fun. You're in the 2.2% range. So let me show you. Let's see. Like I said, people always ask, you know, how much money do you make and things like that. Let me show you a couple of the stats, and which one was it? I think maybe it was under the Beta Studio. Yeah, because see, I've been doing live streams for the last couple of months. I haven't been putting out as many regular videos. I'm not in any range. Really? That's interesting. Let's see. Was it in here? Yeah, it's always interesting to see how many subscribers you win, lose, or whatever. God, where is maybe it's in the YouTube beta. They got this new version they're coming out with. Yeah, here we go. We're going into data is nerdy. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to show you guys something that whenever I see this, I kind of chuckle. I just got to remember where I saw it. Let's see. All right, let's go to analytics. Okay, oh, sorry, let's go to the view here. All right, so this is, look at the big money I'm making, $62.46. That's how much I've made in the last couple days. Let's see, that shows my top videos. These right here show anytime I posted a video, so you can see where definitely there's the up and down spike. Let's see, this is the last 28 days. Let's see, if we go, like say, the last 90 days, you see a lot more up and down here. And if I go to when I was a lot more active, well, let's just make it a year. You can see how we've definitely went from just starting to, okay, let's take this channel seriously and let's start doing stuff last summer, and then it slowly started to creep up. But under the reach for viewers, let me change this to, say, 90 days. External traffic, all this stuff is a whole lot of fun to see. The one that I'm looking for, maybe it was build an audience. Build an audience, here we go. Look at that, okay, here it is right here. So everyone, I just want you guys to see this because, again, I'm not a big channel, I'm just a little guy. We're gaining about, 20 or 30 subs, a week. But most of my viewers, 85% are not subscribers. So these guys that are killing themselves saying subscribe, 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 doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The metrics are all, and look at this, I'm 100% male again. So Caleb, your wife's got to start viewing. So I share this with you because I've been pretty open about how the channel works. I look at this stuff every now and then, and every now and then if I'm going through things I want to do a video about, I'll kind of look at, well, where's the interest in? But yeah, and I think you're right. Yeah, I think Kate, I think you hit it. I know for me anyway, there's a handful of channels that I do like to watch, but I'm not a subscriber because I don't want to. I'm not always interested in what they're posting, But yeah, I don't know what unknown is. You're either a subscriber or not a subscriber, but okay. See more, sure. What's this? So watch time is excellent. So let me back out of this. So yeah, just sharing the fun stuff here with you. Top videos by end screen, which is what people click on. My top video right here, installing Octoprint tutorial, 127,000 views. How to install the Easy ABL, and then, I got great traffic on that. The only caveat with that video has been, of course, Creality copied, like they do everything, his probe, and as a result, they were telling people to go to his website to print out his mount and his directions on how to set it all up. And the one thing that I deal with all the time is people will comment saying, hey, where can I find the STL so I can download the mount and print it? And I just keep on telling him, you need to contact TH3D. And then I get replies like, well, this video was useless. Like, well, if I'm useless, I don't feel like I need to help you then. So there you go. There's always people that are going to complain for the sake of complaining. And one thing to also remember for any of you guys that are also doing YouTube channels, even if they post and bitch, it's a view, it's interactions, it counts. If they want to call you names, no problem. Write the check. Just like that guy says from the plays the winged guy in the Avengers. Write the check. So let me go back to over here. That's my water. Okay, and top playlist by far is 3D printing. I'm always surprised that the R2-D2 stuff doesn't get as many views. But again, there's not a lot of people that are building R2-D2s. The other thing too is BB-8. I haven't done a lot of BB-8 stuff. And the DCS world, I get a lot of comments about that, surprisingly. I swore, exactly. So yeah, there it is. So there's the overview. There's let's see, this is in the last 90 days. So oh, look at the money. Ooh boy, look at all the printers I can buy. Yeah, right. So there's our watch time, there's our views, there's our subs. So in the last 90 days, we've gained 665 subscribers. So I like to think that I'm doing something right. I didn't know if live streams were going to be very popular, but as I'm learning, you do enough of these, you get a hardcore audience, and sometimes it spreads out from there. . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . Yes, diecast. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. If you're always, like I said, and if you're curious how some of these channels are doing, you can always go to Social Blade. You can put in their channel name, and you can, it's interesting. I mean, it's public information, so you can get, for example, like a good idea of. Actually, let me put it in here right now. So you can get an idea of how many views that channel is getting per day, what they're getting, and see the trends. I was following PewDiePie for quite a while to see how they're doing. Let's see, here we go. So if I pull up my channel on this thing, okay, so they got their DDoS protection here. All right, so we're nerdy as cool. So we got to 102 uploads, 2603 subs, and wow, 221,000 video views. Not bad. Okay, so we have a C+ rating, which is good. Let's see. Our views are a little bit down because I haven't done a video recently. And then what I can do, this is just a quick summary. So what I can do is I can see per day. And what happens is sometimes the counter will stop at about 10 o'clock at night, and then it won't update until 2 a.m. So sometimes, YouTube will say you had, say, 1,000 views that day, but Social Blade will report, oh no, you only had 700, but at 1 a.m. you had 300, so go figure. So yeah, so on a day like today, on a Friday, when we run the live stream, we tend to run a little bit higher. On average, we're right about 1,000. Usually 900 to 1,200 is our averages. And then if I want, I can go to the detail statistics. Like I said, if you guys are curious, about checking your channel or other channels, you can go right in here and do the same thing. And then what you can do is go back by a couple days, and then you can break it down by hours. So like I had one day where I lost 4 people, and they were probably bogus accounts anyway. But I think yesterday, let's see, we gained 7, 3, 1, 1, 1. We lost 1, we gained 4. So, you can, depending on how deep you are into this stuff, you can go crazy trying to keep track of this. Daily subs gives you an idea of the trends we have going on. And what's kind of fun is if you want to compare yourself to other channels. Which one I like to watch, but he hasn't been active in a while. Ron's Place is a good one. And he has like 1,700 subscribers, I think. He's not as active as he used to be. But what you can do is, if you've got a couple channels you want to compare, for example, subs, I overtook him, I guess, back in the fall, and you can kind of see the trend. I want to say he has more overall views, so he has me beat there. But, yep, so you can see the graphing. And what's interesting here, the estimated earnings, I will tell you right now, it's always on the low end. YouTube/Google is having a terrible time trying to filter and appease the advertisers because people are doing stupid things online. And of course, they always take it out on the creators, it seems. But, and again, like I said, you can zoom in here and you can see how, in red is where Nerdy is Cool is, scoring higher than he is currently. So, but yeah. But there are some, let's see, he remembers everything. That's great. But someone like a 3D printing nerd, his numbers are just incredible. He's not as high as Angus and some of those guys as far as total subs. But, I mean, just look at his daily gains on subscribers, plus 200, 84, 200, 200, 200. I mean, it's just amazing. The consistent amount of people. Just when you think that the 3D printing world, only has so many people, but I mean, he's gaining, 200, 300 people a day. So there's clearly a lot of people out there interested in 3D printing. And then you can just see his daily average, 237, and his daily views 32. If they're looking at, if you wanted to get into the details and projections, I mean, it's just, he does not have any negatives. He is just going and going and going. So he's looking at probably 243 to 4,000 bucks a month. So, and he's one of these guys who, God bless his soul, he's doing it full time. And I like his stuff, but sometimes, he'll put out a video that I just have no interest in because I'm big into learning the tech, and he's more into a more general audience. So we tend to be a little more techie over here. And that's fine. I like that all these channels can coexist and have their own thing. It seems like Naries is always unboxing some free printer he got. Uh, Seems like a nice enough guy, but boy, I don't know if he lives with his parents or whatever, but he's always got like this huge armoire behind him and china or a dining room table. And it's just some of these channels you watch, you just, I'm probably forming all the wrong opinion. He's probably the nicest guy in the world, but I'm just like, wow, he's like always in that dining room or something. TV show would be interesting for these guys. No, TV's brutal. TV requires a real steady schedule, and you really. Um, his life story is pretty rough. Oh, narrates, yeah. Well, if obviously he has some subscribers, and if he's getting joy from what he's doing, and if he's getting free toys, and people are enjoying his content, all the power to him. My observation has just been like, man, he's always unboxing a free printer. How many printers does he have? Says the guy with 8 printers. But literally, it seems like every week they're unboxing a new one. So does anyone have any question about YouTube metrics and how all that fun works? So if you're wondering why, I haven't filmed any aviation videos from the retired jet fighter that I bought or the Lamborghini that's on order, yeah, at 63 bucks a month, it's got a while to go. Christina, do you want me to look her up on Social Blade or on YouTube? And is it KHALIL? Demonetized. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me pop it open. All right. So this is the. Is this the young lady that the fitness lifestyle motorcycles? She's got a rating in B, so that's not bad. Wow. So she's pulled. Wow. Look at that. Look at these numbers. Pulling in 1,000 subscribers a month. So just based on, well, of course, she mentions demonetized. I don't know anything about her. I've never watched her videos, but clearly from what I'm seeing from here, she looks like she's really rough on the eyes. Good for you, girl. But wow, look at that, 628 one day. There's another girl up in Canada. I can't remember her name. I want to say she's into the modeling / soft porn, whatever. I can't think of her name right now. She's made the news a couple times, and oh my God, the things that she does to work around the YouTube rules. I need to wear a bikini. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I'm sure you guys want to see that. Eh, what the hell? Okay, I gotta show you this. So just when I think my printers are safe, Molly. Hey, Molly. What are you doing up there? Yeah. I specifically bought that enclosure so you wouldn't be getting into the printers. Cats. Will you get down from there? You're just looking at me like, what are you thinking? Okay. Well, it's one of those things where we just have to learn that cats rule the world and there's not much I can do about it. All right, you. Oh, yeah. Yeah, thank you. Yes. I'm jealous of you. You know what? I can't fly, but you know what? If you do that again, you're gonna. All right, everybody. Say hello to Molly. Molly, say hi to everybody. What are you doing? You're looking all wonky. You're the one in trouble, not me. You. You have anything to say for yourself? Well. Well, everybody, this is Molly. Molly is the 2-year-old. She's the middle child. And apparently, she's the one who's getting into everything. I was wondering, because you may notice that, actually, while I have this camera here, I just want you to observe that. Notice that BB-8 is, the body is there and the head is there. So I think somebody clobbered him. And I think that person is probably that one right there. Oh well, what can you do? When you have pets, you have to remember, you're not home all the time. They are. Well, hello, Danielle. It's throwing me off. You know, you guys had me add the chat to the main screen, and it is totally throwing me off. Okay, there's the furnace going because I live in Maine, and actually it's supposed to be warm this weekend. We're supposed to be having an incredible melt-off. So there we go. Keith, make sure you power down your Pi properly, or you corrupt your Octopi installation. Well, how do you do that? I always leave them running. Oh, I'm glad you said that. For those of you who have not seen my Octoprint video on the temperatures, just ordered a bunch of these, and these are the Noctua fans. You can plug these guys right into the Raspberry Pi. These are the ones, if you, I don't have one of the Raspberry Pis handy, but what's cool, see what I mean? Cool. See where I'm going here with this? These little fans on top of a Raspberry Pi with the heat sink, even when the Pi is working its hardest, this fan and a heat sink will have it running in the low 30s. It's amazing. So if you guys are always wondering, you know, I wonder how hard that Octopi is working, should I have a fan on it, does it need a heat sink? How's the best way to say this? A Raspberry Pi 3 with no heat sink, even at idle, will run at about 35 degrees Celsius. If you put a heat sink and have a fan running on it, even at high load, it will run cooler than that. So give that a thought. So just ordered these. They just showed up a couple days ago. I kind of went through. I got my YouTube check, so I was like, woohoo! I bought filament. I bought $12 fans. I'm telling you, you give me $65, I'm gonna go crazy. So there it is. And I hear the cat running. I don't know where she is. Maybe the dryer again. I don't know. Post a link. I will be happy to do so. Thank you very much. Let me go to... I'll do two things actually for you. What I'll do, let me go to my dashboard, and I will post a link to the video. See, I thought we had a female viewer. I was all excited. Then Caleb has stolen our thunder. It's secretly Caleb. All right, let's go here. I will post you a link to the video that documents the that I did on the temperatures on this and how much of a difference it makes. I wasn't going to go there die-cast, but I am glad somebody did. That's funny. Okay, here we go. So the video link I will share. Sorry, I hear pitter-pattering of pets running. I woke up at 3 in the morning this morning with a plastic ball on my face. Molly was very excited to share this with me. Get a kitten, they said. It'll be fun. Okay, and I'm just waiting for this to refresh, and then I'll give you the link. Because I think you guys will find this interesting, because yesterday was Pi Day, and Theodore, stop sitting on your sister. All right, and the one I wanted to share with you guys, because this was one of those videos where I learned a lot from making it, so it's fun to share with you guys. Oh, these cats are just on my last nerve today. uh, even more uncomfortable was there was only one. Okay, Raspberry Pi. How to cool your Raspberry Pi. That's the one I wanted to share with you. And I am going to click this link and share it. Oh, come on. This is a brand new computer. It's supposed to be super quick and nothing slows it down, except what I'm doing right now. And what I would give for YouTube to stop giving me pop-ups. Okay, let me put it over here. I'm going to do a Control V. There it is. And hopefully you guys can let me know if you see that link. That is the one where I cover should you be cooling your Raspberry Pi. I think you'll like that one. Well, it might be time to wrap up here shortly because these guys are just totally bouncing off the walls. Did you just approve it? Okay, I was curious if it got flagged or not. It's interesting because even I saw it come across, but so that's the one that I had a ton of fun doing. There it is. Okay. Oops, and it's not showing up in HD for me. I don't know. It's like my computer. Well, there's two things. It was interesting because I wanted to add another HD camera here, but I'm not sure this computer could handle it very well. The software that the T7i, the EOS Rebel software, it seems to be like a massive, it does a massive performance hit on this computer. But it's still running better than the other laptop, I'll give it that. But darn it. Oh, no, this is good. I love it when people ask questions and we can all dive in and help because Keith is really good at this stuff too. So I bought a direct drive extruder from TH3D with the pancake stepper and I'm trying to load the filament and it's clicking. Is it clicking under power or is it clicking without power? Good question, Caleb. The other question I would ask is, does the pinion gear, is it chewing up the filament? Well, it's not. What's the voltage you're running on the extruder stepper driver? Because I know with my pancake motor on the FT5, that was a little bit tricky to dial in. Let's go to the TH3D website and take a look. Let's make this interactive and help you guys out. I wonder if you're stalling. Okay, hang on. Let's see if we can help you out here. Okay, so you said to look for the all metal head-end because sometimes if you're not running enough power, the motor may not be turning. The other thing is if the motor is hot to touch, then you know you're too much. Okay, so you said you bought a TH3D direct drive extruder. Well, let's look at his extruders because he only has 5, I think. Okay, I'm going to leave this screen here. Let me know which one you got. It looks like I see the pancake right here, the stepper motor. But did you get the tough extruder? The second one from the left? This is where I hate the lag. Oh, make these pop-ups go away, Tim. The 109.25. Okay, that's one back here. Oh, the top. Oh, okay, so he has all kinds of extras in that one, as I recall. Okay, so you got. So we'll get the right one now. Good. And this is going on a CR10. Oh, it's a CR10-4? Okay, so it's the next one up from the CR10S. Have you updated the firmware? Okay, so you're using the tough direct heat sink. Okay, so basically, okay, so you have a Titan Aero. His knockoff of the Titan Aero. Oh, you have to use a bootloader for that one? That's interesting. Actually, let me and what I'm going to do is I'm going to window myself here. Let's see how that works. There we go. Okay, so let me go back over here. There. Now you can see me, and I'm tucked away in here. There we go. How's that? There we go. I'll stop messing around with it now. Okay, let me look back at the chat here, because you guys may have figured it out without me. Yeah, so we seem to all be in agreement on that. Let me, because what's interesting about his pancake stepper, let me go back a screen here. Does he mention anything about the voltage that this thing should have? You know, that might be a good one to post on his support page. Just, I'd say, hey, I got the pancake stepper motor, and I have a CR10, and what do you recommend for the... Do you know how to adjust the voltage on the stepper driver? I imagine if you've updated the firmware and all that, you probably do, but I don't want to assume anything. Yeah, most of these steppers are 1 amp. Yeah, because I got an old one from Stepper Online here that I bought a spare in case my FT5 one went kapooey. Oh, Matt's really good. Yeah, Matt's actually Matt was talking about wanting to be here tonight if I was unboxing, but I said no, I'm not unboxing, so he's not here, I guess. What did this thing say, as I recall? Well, this has all kinds of specs. I'm just wondering if it's at all like this one. Yeah, 1 amp phase. Oh yeah, that's a good question. Let me use my phone for that because my goodness gracious, my computer seems to be all maxed out. Let's see. I just got a message from Brant Dunkers. So I know someone was asking about getting in on his run for those builds. Well, the pancake stepper is just a pancake. Is all it is a lighter motor. Okay, uh, I have bought 3 from E3D, and they are lighter than a regular stepper motor. So the idea is that you would use them in a Titan Arrow, and basically you're making the print head lighter. Oh, did you already send them? Yeah, the only other thing I can think of is, oh boy, you just mentioned this, and boy. So it's a Titan Arrow, so because we just did this real recently. Because if you're getting stalling, what I suspect is stalling, um, yeah, he's got a couple kids, so he might be busy. Let's see. So, but one of the things that they mentioned in this is the assembly instructions that probably look real familiar to you. The troubleshooting they mentioned, uh, but you have this all lined up over here, right? Because this is one of the gotchas. Yeah, I agree with Keith. This right here could be a big gotcha if that's not lined up properly. The uh, the pinion gear, but the other thing when they talk about troubleshooting, they check the backlash. PID. Somewhere in here, they mentioned a couple of things for. Yes, I can. Yep. Let's see. Keith, get ready to approve this. This is the step-by-step we used. There we go. And I just posted the link, and Keith is the moderator. He'll approve that here in a moment, so that you can see it. Oh, the video goes way too quick. Yeah, no, The biggest thing I struggle with, I love the Titan Aero. The biggest thing I struggle with is trying to get it all together. And the other thing is, thank you, Keith, is trying to get it so that the hot end is aligned properly. Because as you go through these pictures, and like I said, this has bitten me a couple times. As you go through those images, you're going to notice that what looks all lined up, obviously when they photographed this, they photographed it over a couple different builds. So in one picture it'll look one way, and the next picture it'll look different. Like for example, this picture right here, okay, the heater cartridge and the thermoresistor cartridge are on the same side. But the next picture, oh well, you know, they're on the opposite sides now. So just be careful. And I hope the picture-in-picture view isn't too distracting here. Oh, there we are. What are you doing, Theodore? My goodness gracious, it's like Attack of the Cats over here. All right, so I will hide my pancake motor before I want to use it again. I feel your pain because I went through that with the FT5. The FT5 wasn't clicking, but I was having, in hindsight, I was having extrusion problems. So I should have been playing more with the slicer than messing with the motor voltage. It's open source, so technically it should be the same darn thing. Actually, I'm going to ask Timothy. He messaged me a little while ago, showing off his new basement. So what I'll do is I'll ask him your question as well too. Question. Let's see. Let's see. Sorry to be rude. I'm getting your message across to him because sometimes he'll reply and sometimes he'll jump right in the live stream, as we've learned. But anything I can do to help you out here. There we go. So the least I can do is ask, and hey, if he gets if I get a reply right away, that's great. If not, no biggie. Yeah, you raise a good point. Well, I have news there. Of course, I think I've only got like 5 viewers right now. But fine, you guys are the diehards. Yeah, so the FT-6 is sitting here. The good news, okay, the good news. So Keith, be ready for this. We have all the parts to rehab the TiVo Tornado. Well, rehab, it never really worked to begin with. Power supply arrived. The SSR arrived. Let's see, we have the Titan Aero hot end. We have the Evolve that we need to print out for it. We need to figure out how to put that damn Evolve. Here's my worry on that Evolve setup. I mean, I like Petzl. I like the Petzfang stuff. The question I have is, just because of the amount of room on the mount, here's the question I don't know. Do we mount that thing onto the X carriage first and then attach the Titan Aero? Because once you start attaching the Titan Aero on the mount, if you need to access any of those screws that attach to the X carriage, you're SOL. So, whoops, excuse me, hiccup. So that's my big question right there is, hey, what is the proper assembly order? You know, and that's just it. If we don't want to do that, okay, if we don't want to go there, if we don't want to use that duct, well, actually, we could use that duct, but I'm thinking something different. We have the BondTech that we bought with the proceeds from YouTube. I'm telling you, you give me $63 and some extra cash, and man, I just been buying parts galore. So we have a BondTech in stock, so we could also use that. Bye, Danielle. Well, that's what I'm wondering. Okay, because we'll talk about that. Okay. Because tomorrow I got to be somewhere tomorrow evening, so I don't know how much I'll do tomorrow afternoon. But if you're around, Keith, tomorrow, well, again, I'm on Eastern Coast time, so you'll probably be sleeping. I would definitely like to make some progress on this guy too. Yep, I think you're right. This chair keeps on sliding away on me. Do I have a reply yet? No, he hasn't even read it. Okay. Well, we're coming up on midnight. I told myself I was going to do a little bit of flying here before I turn in for the night. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap up this broadcast for tonight. It was nerd chat. We talked about whatever we wanted. I showed off all the kind of cool stuff we got going on. Hopefully tomorrow we can make some more progress on the i3. Hopefully, Keith, you get a response from Marlon about our questions. And let's plan on Sunday. We start unboxing this guy, and we're going to have a lot of stuff to unbox and stack and get sorted out. So there we go. Yeah, don't crash. Good luck. You know me. So there we are. Have yourselves a great night. Thanks for watching. Remember, this is where nerdy is cool, and I wish you a good night.